Hello, everyone. I'm gonna day 27? Who knows? Oh man, don't I look so cute today? Anyway, I was wearing something over this, but yeah. Anyway, okay, so today went to American Heritage. It was okay. We talked about the Declaration of Independence for ever, and then what did we do? And then after that, I did the little review thing for math. Or I went the little study session we had for math, and then we went to math class. We didn't get much done, and then we went to math class, and then I went to go eat lunch, and then I went back to math because I wanted to take the exam today, the math exam today. So we went back to math, or I went back to math, and I went to the review session to try and get what I didn't know, understand what I didn't know, and I did. And I went through the test, and I totally aced it. Well, at least I think I did, because there were also the testing center jam-packed. Literally, it was so many people. I almost wanted to die. I wanted to literally die because there was so many people. And then I what did I do? Oh, and I had to walk real far down to find a seat to sit down because that's how many people there were in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's insane. But anyway, I feel like I did really well. I got an 82, but there was a bunch of free response questions, so I don't think they graded those ones that fast. I think my teachers have to grade that, so, or professors or whatever you call them. But yeah, so basically I was like, I think I totally aced it. I might have gotten a couple wrong, but there were some where I was like, we were not taught this. There's actually a lot that we weren't taught. For the going over the review and stuff like that, I was like, when was I taught this? When? Never. I wasn't taught it. He spends forever on a topic that he thinks we don't know, but we do. But then he talks more about it, and so that makes us more confused, and so he spends even more time on it. Ugh, it's so dumb. We spent 40 minutes of class talking about functions when we weren't even supposed to be talking about that. We were supposed to be talking about percents all class. Anyway, but yeah, so I did that, and and it literally went in at 4:16, got out at 6:02. Took me 2 hours to take that test, and it was 20 questions. Goodness gracious. I'm glad I didn't have a time limit. And then, you wanna know what I found out today? The reason why American Heritage is so hard is because BYU, the school, makes the tests for American Heritage. So the professors don't know what's on the test. They know what they're supposed to teach, but they don't know what questions are going to be on the test. What? It's they want us to fail. Oh my gosh, literally horrible. So I was like, well, that sucks because I don't literally lectures don't really matter. I just need to know what BYU wants me to know, not what my professor wants me to know. Oh, and it sucks because the learning objective is one sentence long. At least for what we've learned so far, the learning objective is one sentence long. And it's understand the religious, historical, and economic circumstances that created the Declaration of Independence in light of the restored gospel. Let me tell you something. We have not talked about our gospel in lecture ever. So I have no idea what that means. I'm gonna study, obviously. And it's different every year, so it's like the SAT. Ugh. No, there's no limits. I think I'm gonna take it. It starts next Tuesday, but I think I'm gonna take it next Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take it next Wednesday. Because I don't have time to take it before I have to pay the $8 or the $5 fee. So take it next Wednesday, right after math class. I might eat before I go. But yeah, literally, oh my gosh. It's so I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, that sucks. Everything my professors taught me could be useful, could not be useful. I think I've got it. I think I understand what it wants me to know. I mean, I'll find out. If I bomb it, then if I do really well in the final, then I can get that get that grade, and hopefully by the time I reach the final, I'll be able to do well in it. But like that's why everyone fails, like literally like sucks at that classes. That's why like the average grade is a C, is because the professors don't know what they're teaching stuff that like they don't know if that's on the test. It's like teaching for the AP test. The teachers don't know what's on the AP test. They know kind of what's on the AP test, but whatever. I got a 2 on the AP test from guessing, so we'll see what happens with this. Anyway, oh my gosh, y'all, let me tell you, my essay grade just came in 72. Excuse me? I tried to go to the feedback to see what he took off and like why. He only like shows what he took off, and everything he took off, I'm like, I'm sorry, I did that. I don't know what you're talking about. I did that. Like, and like, no, I don't even like, it's like, so like, it was like 4 out of 6, and so there's 2, 2, 2, so I'm like, I don't know which 2 I didn't get. He didn't tell me that, so he said that tomorrow he's in like review room, so he's in like the review room so we can come and talk to him about our grades, and I'm arguing that crap. I am so arguing it. I'm sorry. I've written a college paper. I've written many college papers before, and my average was A, because I've taken English 101 before. I've taken your stupid writing 150 before. I know what a college essay is supposed to look like. I even cut it down to make sure it fit within your limit. And I hit those points. I did everything was asked of me, and you're gonna give me a 72? I'm about to literally yell at this man. I'm not gonna yell at him, but I'm literally about to like crack my knuckles and show like, what's up? Wanna fight? Give me a better grade. There's no way I'm taking that grade. If I do take that grade, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna kill myself. Gosh, makes me so mad. So mad. And you know what he did? He told us, he was like, hey, there are people who got above a 93, and I went back and looked at them and gave them a lower grade because that like he's like, I don't want to grade people too highly and grade people too poorly, so I like re-review all of them, make sure I did and change up the things, make sure it's all right. I'm like, the average grade was an 18, which is 70, 72, 76. I'm sorry. Like, I hate teachers that do that. I literally hate teachers that do that. I'm like, I did everything that was asked of me, and yet you're gonna grade me based off your personal bias because I didn't write as well as you thought I should have written. And I totally wrote as well as I should have written. I connected those points. I showed that I knew what I was talking about. I showed the connection between. I'm really mad about that. Like, I'm pissed about that. I'm so mad. Anyway, literally so mad right now. Now my grade's a 76. I still count that as a win, but I'm literally fighting that. I'm fighting that so hard. Anyway, what do I have to do? I have math, and I have this book. I'm gonna try and read a bit of this book before I go to bed. I have math in that book and lab. I'm gonna do math after this, and then going to bed. It's only like 9:30, so we're good. I got time. Oh shoot, I did my UNIV stuff, but I forgot to read for Book of Mormon, so I gotta do that. Let me tell you what I read today. It was crazy what I read today. Also, I want to watch Hamilton so bad because I feel like it'll help me so much on the test. Oh man. Anyway, so we read. Oh my goodness. So basically what I read today, or like what I read that's due for Wednesday's class, it's basically was talking about like women's rights and slaves' rights during the revolution, and how those like kind of ideas were like just like they were like all men are created equal except these people. But yeah, it wasn't just blacks and Indians, and it was like all the indigenous people, including women. Yeah, so I read Correspondence on Women's Rights, which was letters exchanged between John Adams and his wife Abigail Adams. And Abigail's like, hey, why not adding some women's rights? Because we're basically subject to your tyranny, like your absolute power over us as women, and you're my husband. He's like, she's like, men are statistically more susceptible to become tyrants. So why don't you give us some power? And he's like, you're so silly. You're so cute. Oh my goodness. All that talk about giving slaves and Native Americans and all these other people like rights, it's gotten to your head. They're making you want rights too. I was like, what? How can men be this dense? But like, to be honest, I was reading like John Adams replying to his wife, and being like, you're so silly. I'm like, that's literally men now. There are plenty of men who I've met that think like this or have told me things like this. And I'm like, okay, man. Okay, calm down. Okay, I hope I do well on that exam. If I do well on an exam, I will bump my grade up. But I gotta, literally on that exam, I'm gonna be like, what's the most Mormon answer? And then it sucks because I'm like, we've never covered this in class. And then it also sucks because I'm like, what the southern deep south Mormon and what you're taught down there is completely different from Utah Mormon, at least from what I've gauged. Because it's not like you have those basic doctrines and stuff like that, but you're not like, the people who are teaching you have biases, have prejudices, have whatever they want, and it seeps into when they teach you. Like, literally, I was told you'll go to hell if you kill yourself. I was told you'll damn your entire family to hell if you kill yourself. I was told that getting a divorce is wrong and you'll go to hell if you get a divorce. Like, literally, these are people of the church teaching me these things. Like, as I'm a kid, being like, yeah, I thought you'd go to hell if you get a divorce. And then people will be like, no, that's not right. Oh, so I don't know what they're taught here. So, and then it sucks because I don't know who's writing the test. Because if it's a woman, it's probably going to be blah, blah, blah. If it's a man, it's probably going to be blah, blah, blah. Like, the man's probably going to be super conservative. If it's a woman, depending on who it is and what their life experience are, they're going to be kind of, like, more not the conservative, I feel. I don't know. Some women I've met that I'm like, you realize you're a woman too, right? Real. you, what? It's like, oh, they're all pick-me's. If they call feminists like crazy, or like they try and be like women deserve to be in the kitchen, or like women are supposed to be in the kitchen, they're pick-me's. They just want attention. They want that male attention, and it sucks, and it's sad. It's really sad. They're insecure. But then again, almost as like every male on this earth is super insecure. Super duper insecure. Anyway. But yeah, no, he was literally writing, sorry, back to Adams. He was literally writing his wife and being like, I can't believe they're getting to you now. You're crazy. You're so crazy. I'm like, and then she was like, you mother effer. She's like, what I said was true. You're crazy. You're the one who's crazy. You're the one who won't see. Yeah, it was crazy. And then we had Thomas Jefferson. he talks about slavery and how blacks also, okay, let me do a history lesson for y'all. My mom, this is mostly for my mom, because okay, so my mom obviously, start of America, there were indentured servants, slaves, and those slaves were both white and black. There was actually like a good mix. But as the time goes on, it becomes more racial based slavery. And so for like the last little like 100, 200 years of slavery, it was all blacks. There weren't white people, because get this, white people saw white people in slavery and were like, hey, they look like me, and I'm not a slave, so they shouldn't be a slave. So literally they're like, hey, that's me. I can't be mean to me, but I can be mean to this person who doesn't look like me. So yeah, it ended up becoming where it was all black. There weren't white people in slavery. Towards the end of slavery, like the last last 100 years or so of slavery, it was all black slavery, which is why there's a lot of like racism and stuff like that to this day, and why like black movements are so important and stuff like that, is because there's that prejudice, and it exists even when you don't talk about it. It still exists and stuff like that. Yeah, talking about it elevates some situations, but even still, it's there. It's there and you talk about it, or it's there and you don't talk about it. But whatever. To be honest, people keep trying to put black people above us, which I know that might sound crazy, but it's a lot of things where like I've grown up like hearing about like the racism and like the how you treat everyone equally, and it's now made me super self-aware of color, which I don't want to be. I don't want to be self-aware of color. I want to be nice to everyone, not treat everyone freaking equally, which I do. I try to be like not weird, but I've worked on it, stuff like that, but I got that internalized homophobia, literally scared to death of gay people. Just kidding. And then there's that like internalized racism, which I don't. Obviously, I'm working on it, trying to be better. I think I'm pretty good on that, but yeah, no, definitely growing up, I had to like work through some feelings and be like, that's not right. Why am I treating this person differently than this person? So yeah, I've gotten super better. I say that. Watch me say like the N-word or whatever. Just kidding. I would never say that. That's a joke. Don't come for me, Morgan. But no. Obviously you grow up with these internalized things because it's either people you're surrounded with, your parents or whatever. I don't think my parents did instill the homophobia in me, but that's like a Mormon thing. All Mormons are kind of weirded out by gays. I learned to get past that real quick. Middle school, everyone thought it was gay because I hung out with the gay people, but they're like the best people ever. They just don't care about anything, and I'm like, yes, this is it. But yeah, no. And then up into high school, I was overly conscious of black people and people of color. Because it's just that thing of like, oh my gosh, I can't say the wrong thing. I have to be like super nice. I have to make sure that like I'm not saying anything racist and stuff like that. It was that sense of over awareness, which I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing at all. It made me super uncomfortable around black people. Which I don't know what the term is for black phobia. instead of homophobia, I was dealing with black phobia. But whatever. I think I've gotten better. I'm still a little uncomfortable. I'm a little uncomfortable, like weird around black people, just like over aware. But I think I've become more like they've reached the level of like gay people with me where I'm like, okay, hey fool, what's up? Let's go clubbing. Let's go party. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. Anyway, back on freaking Jefferson. Let me tell you what Jefferson says. It's the craziest thing ever. He talks about how all men are created equal, right? Evident that all men created equal. Anyway, he talks about how it's like black people are just better in servitude. They can handle the sun, they can handle harsh hours in the sun, they can handle the violence, they don't think, they have no thought behind their brain, so they can't be like us, they can't learn. You hand them a piece of work and they don't understand it. You hand them like the greatest pieces of work ever and they're just like, oh, that's cool. It's literally like they're dumb. Then they can stay up late and even though they work forever long and like they can endure the violence, so like they're just different. They're a different species. They're human, but they're like a different kind of human. I'm like, what? And then he describes them, like he compares them to like Indians, like Indians or indigenous people, and like well, they can, like he was talking about how like the women in indigenous places, they goodness, what are they called? They how the women would go out and hunt so they wouldn't have as many kids, and then they said, but the women can be tamed and can be, if the indigenous woman marries a white man and she doesn't have to go out and hunt, then she can have as many children as she needs. And I'm like, that's crazy. But he talks about how like at least he said at least the indigenous people can like draw flowers, so it shows some cognitive ability. I'm like, that's insane. What? I can't believe. And then he goes on to say, like, we should all be free, but blacks can't be free because they're dumb. I'm like, what? And then he talks about, like, a couple last sentences of his, what was it called? A note on the state of Virginia. The couple last sentences is like, if they did become free, they'd mix with us, and we don't want that. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. And then there was another thing called the Correspondence on Slavery, where this black man writes to Thomas Jefferson is like, hey, all those things you said about us is completely untrue. We're only like that because we're enslaved and we have to deal with harsh conditions and stuff like that. Unlike you, who are, like, super privileged and educated and stuff like that. And he's like, me, being a now freed black man, like, gaining all this education, understanding of all this stuff, I am just like you. And then Thomas Jefferson is like, I wish that were true. I wish you could show me people that he literally goes, I wish you could show me blacks that, like, could like evolve like that and, like, have cognitive abilities, but it's not true. It'll never happen. I'm like, what? That's crazy. I can't believe they thought like this. Literally insane. Crazy. Absolute craziness. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Don't you think it's so weird how your hand's, like, as big as your face? And, like, as a baby, your arms go, like, up to here. But now they go like this. Your head, like, stays the same. It's weird. Anyway, let me scooch over a little bit. But yeah. Literally crazy. And Thomas Jefferson was so cool in the Alexander Hamilton play, so. Oh my gosh, my teacher today, Professor Paterwitz, he quoted he quoted Alexander Hamilton. He was like, right, and like in that play, that Alexander Hamilton, because he said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, which is from the song Schuyler Sisters, where they're out in the town, and she's like, I'm looking for a mind at work. I'm looking for a mind at work. But yeah, she goes, I've been reading Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Some men say that I'm intense or I'm insane. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And when I meet Thomas Jefferson, I'm gonna compel him to. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna compel him to include women in the sequel work. Look around. Yeah, I love Hamilton. Such a good song. I literally nerded out to, like, the George Washington quote, like, everyone shall sit on their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. We're safe in this nation we've made. Literally crazy. Oh, and John Adams is the second president of the U.S. He was president number 2, right after George Washington. And he treats his wife like that, but to be honest, a lot of men treated their wives like that. It's crazy. Insane. My goodness. Ugh. And then, yeah. I want to go on a rant about education, guys. Education, so incredibly important. I literally value education more than life. I think it is so important to be educated. Because, I mean, you look now at, like, black communities and stuff like that. Majority of, like, I remember being a kid. I literally remember being a kid and being like, why didn't they just move? Why didn't they just move to, like, the north or, like, somewhere else where there weren't racist people? Literally, that was my thought process. I'm like, why'd they stay in the south? Why didn't they move? Because they don't have the money to. Duh, Bella. A lot of black communities are in less educated areas, and so they don't have that access to education. They don't have the access to good education. Like, I mean, even in South Carolina, which I got that education, and it is pretty bad. And I got like one of the better educations in South Carolina, and it still sucked. There's like I remember in my psych class, we literally watched this documentary about this like town, like 30 minutes away, that the children can't read. They can't read. There's high schoolers that can't read. Because, one, they either made it all the way there and never like they were too embarrassed to say that they couldn't read, or they never asked for help or anything like that. So like there's people in South Carolina who cannot read. There's people in this country that cannot read because they were not given proper education as a kid. And education is so incredibly important to be successful. If you want to be successful, you must be educated. There's no other way. That's why you have these service workers that dropped out of high school or like didn't go to college or stuff like this, and they're stuck because they're stuck because they have a certain level of education that can't be furthered. I mean, they could try. A lot of them, like, not a lot of them, a couple of them are like, they go through school even when they're like 40, and they try and get that extra education because they don't want to be stuck getting paid $9 an hour. Literally, like, it's so incredibly important. And then it sucks because these people, blacks, whites, indigenous, all these people are like in areas, if they're born in an area where education just sucks and they can't get that proper education that other people are blessed with, and they're stuck because either their kids like they go to high school and they hate school and they drop out and they try and find some other kind of job, like whether working or like not working, heavy lifting, I don't forget what that's called, labor, manual labor, I think that's what it's called, like labor jobs, or like fast food stuff or stuff like that, where they're stuck there because they didn't get either that full high school education, or they didn't get that higher education because either they couldn't afford it or they just didn't want to. Most likely they couldn't afford it. Or like they didn't have the grades to be able to get scholarships and stuff like that. And it's really, really, really upsetting because they're stuck in a cycle where like they don't because minimum wage in this country right now is too low. People cannot afford to live working one job at minimum wage, which is insane. Like insane. The minimum wage needs to be raised, or you need to drop prices of things, which whatever. But yeah, they're not getting paid, so they work multiple jobs in order to make some kind of money where they can't afford to live in like a dingy house or whatever, like a house that like is just barely able to support their needs. And then if they have kids, then they have all those expenses, and then those kids are forever stuck in this kind of loop until maybe you get one kid that's able to be like a super genius and loves school for whatever reason, is able to learn and get out of that situation. But there's just this endless cycle of people not being able to get proper education and not being able to get out of like situations where they're working like 50, like 70, 80 hours a week. I don't think that's work. Is it probably right? Because you work multiple jobs. You probably work long shifts. And then there's like, anyway, I don't know. But anyway, like they're just stuck forever in this circle. Oh my gosh. That's why education is so incredibly important. It is important than anything else. Anything else in the world. Get your high school education if you don't want to go to college or can't afford it, or can't go to whatever one you want, then get at least get a high school education. You can do so much with a high school education than you can with a middle school education. It's better to have doors open than to close doors because of laziness or inability, or not inability. But yeah, and then it sucks. It's just, yeah, big L. But yeah, that's why education is so incredibly important. Because like, and I was so incredibly blessed. God was looking out for me. Because if my high school experience had been the way that some of my friends' high school experiences had been in the same school, I wouldn't have gone to college. I probably would have dropped out. I probably would have gone to college. I probably would have stayed home, done something else. But yeah, I was so incredibly blessed to get whoa. Sorry, someone, I got a TA. But anyway, so incredibly like, but yeah, like I was so really blessed to get, first of all, I feel like I got the only good teachers in high school. Like, I feel like I got the only good teachers in high school. Like, every teacher I had in high school, I have no complaints about. They were all amazing, and they taught me so well, and I understood so well, and it was it was good. And even like, and a lot of the teachers, they said that like sucked. Like I got a bunch of teachers that like people said like were the worst teachers, and they were like the freaking best teachers ever. They just sucked because they were a little bit strict. Oh, that's another thing, is people in South Carolina, I don't understand what it is, but if someone's kind of strict or like doesn't let you do what you want, they're immediately like, oh, they're the worst, they suck, and like they just lose all motivation to do anything in that class. Yes, having a good relationship with the teacher, at least enjoying a teacher's presence, has a huge effect on the ability to learn. Because I've been in places where I do poorly in classes if I do not like the teacher. Because it's that sense of like rebellion, or like, I don't like you, I don't respect you, I'm not going to learn what you're trying to teach me. And that's a big thing in South Carolina. There's a lot of kids just they get offended, or they get their feelings hurt by like one comment a teacher says, and they ruin their education because of it. I was kind of like that, but I learned to like more or less just deal with it in a sense. Like, goodness, I've like, this is from, hold on. This is 1 unit of American Heritage. That's how many pages I've left. Anyway, but yeah, I was so blessed to get teachers that like actually were awesome, and like I literally loved every single one of my teachers. They were so nice. They were so incredibly insightful. And it sucks is because half my teachers that I literally like think are the best teachers in the school have either moved to a different job, moved to a different school, retired, or died. Literally died. Like, it sucks. Like, and then my brother's telling me all these teachers he has for his freshman year, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I've never heard of these people before. And and I got educated through friggin' COVID and stuff like that. But yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. It was intense. It was intense. I had fun in college. Oh my gosh, I had fun in high school. Especially like even like hard courses like anatomy and gosh, what's it called? Chemistry. I took honors classes because I freaking love science, and they were more intense, but like I was still able to learn. I was still able to learn because my teachers literally were thebomb.com. Anyway. Yeah, education is so important, and South Carolina sucks because the teachers, they don't know how to teach there. And then they have to hire teachers that don't know how to teach because no one else wants to be a teacher. Don't get me started on the how much teachers get paid. It pisses me off how much we pay the freaking military. Like, okay, yeah, we like what is literally $1 billion gonna do? Like, if you take away $1 billion from the military, literally not even a dent. That's like 0.00001% of the military's budget. I hate the way that how much we pay for the military. Like, oh cool, we have gadgets we don't even know, we can't even comprehend. Oh cool, we're not even, no one's in, or actually there are people in active duty, but I don't know where. But like I was just like I don't know. I'm like, there's too much money going to the government. Not to the government, there's too much money going to the military. And then don't get me started on all these old people that are, no offense anyone old watching, but there's all these old people in Congress, and like there's all these old people in Congress and like freaking running for president and stuff like that, where they're all scared. They're running our government and they're making bills and laws and acts because they're scared. They're not doing it for the betterment of the people. They're doing it because they're scared, which is ridiculous. They're scared of the Chinese coming to get us. They're scared of Asians trying to get us. They're scared of women getting more rights. They're not scared of that. They're insecure. They're insecure about themselves for that one. But they're just scared. They're running the government like they're scared, like there's a threat. When there's not. There's not a threat. There are. Obviously, there's always threats, especially with like ISIS and all those terrorist groups and stuff like that. But like, there's a lot of stuff and prejudice within our like central government and it's all like all these acts, and like, here, I'll give an example because I'm not really giving examples. like, y'all gonna get mad for me for this one, but TikTok getting banned, that law being passed. I watched the trials, I watched the hearings. It was so upsetting to watch my own government. It was so upsetting to watch my own government go against its own rules and refuse to understand what a man was telling him right in front of, like, what someone was, a person telling him right in front of him that what he was stating is false. It was so upsetting to see that, this man, it was so upsetting to see my government literally, like, just writing off this man because he was Asian, because he was from Singapore. They're scared because they're like, oh, you're part of the Chinese government. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm part of Singapore. He's like, but you're part of the Communist Party. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm a part of Singapore. He's like, I do not believe in that stuff. And like, TikTok is freaking based in America. The servers that run TikTok is American owned. Yet these people in Congress did not do any sort of research because they were terrified. They're scared of the Chinese. They're so scared of the Chinese getting their information that they're refusing to listen to like a man, right? They're refusing to listen to the word of mouth from the man himself who owns the company, whose whole family is American, like have American passports and everything. He's the only one who doesn't have an American passport, yet he literally like lives in America, and he's working on getting an American passport. His freaking company is based in America, all because he was born in Singapore, and they associate any Asian country as part of the Chinese Communist government. And this all started because some Chinese investor was like, some Chinese guy was like, hey, I want to buy the AI software you use for TikTok, because TikTok's AI is like really, really good. I don't know what they do or whatever. And TikTok, this has happened before, but TikTok didn't want to go really go up against this, because it'll like expose a lot of like the secrets and the trades and like all that stuff. Like secrets in the sense of like the AI and the technology they use, so that way it won't be just TikToks and other people can replicate it. So they didn't want to do that for business purposes, but now they had to. And yet the people in Congress refuse to listen. They refuse to listen because they're so terrified. And it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. I'm like, what are y'all doing? This man has said multiple times that he was born in Singapore. Yeah, he did serve the required military time for his Singaporean government, but he doesn't anymore. He literally like lives in America. Is working on getting his American whatever thing. His whole family is American. The company is based in America. The only reason they're so terrified is because some Chinese guy was like, hey, I want to buy your AI, and he immediately refused. He was like, no, you can't have it. You can't buy my AI. You can't buy the AI or the code that I used. And it wasn't even like information about like the TikTok and its users and stuff like that. It was information about the AI and the technology used in the app. Nothing about any kind of data or whatever, like any kind of important data to us. Oh, and the terms of contract, if you read the terms and contract of TikTok, it makes me so mad to see these people like literally just it's like internet culture. It felt like I was watching like a Twitter thread of just someone saying something crazy and everyone being like agreeing and no fact checking and stuff like that. And it's just and then don't get started the news today. The news today is literally like, it's all like no one does the research anymore. Everyone just like takes things as a word. Like there was a TikTok thing that was like super viral year or two ago where there's a rumor that Kanye West and Jeffree Star were having an affair, having like a gay affair, and I was like it's hilarious, and there were lots of memes and stuff like that, but no one fact checked. All this started from one girl saying that she had sources and she knew this, and that was enough for it to get on the news. No one fact checked this. No one like looked up like, who is this girl? Where's her credibility from? And literally like 2 months later, she comes out and be like, yeah, I made that whole thing up. And our government sucks. It doesn't suck. It could be better. It should be better. But it's run by a bunch of people who continue to stay in office. There should be an age cap on how old you can be in office, because all these old people are freaking hogging all the seats, and they have their prejudice, and they're freaking it's so aggravating. Oh, Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade. Okay, abortion. Here we go. Spilling all my political views right now. Abortion, not okay. I do not think abortion should be legal in a sense of like, if you just want an abortion on a whim, you can get it. I 1000% believe that there should be regulations, and you should go through like a screening process in order to get an abortion. I think it should be like a very conscious choice. I think it should be treated the same way that adoption is treated. Because adoption, there's a lot you have to do in order to adopt a kid. Like, a lot of paperwork, a lot of money, I believe abortion should be treated just as importantly as adoption. Just as importantly as adoption is. Like, you should go through a screening, you should give a valid reason, like you got raped, or you can't afford to like take care of this child. You are not mentally okay to take care of this child, and in that case, I think you should only be able to abort the baby if you cannot find a person who will take the baby. Because do not put I literally hate the freaking the adoption system in our country. Like, foster care and like the orphanages and stuff like that, they're bad, they're horrible. Kids literally go through hell in those places, and most of them never end up getting adopted, because after you hit 7, no one wants you anymore, because they want a baby. They want a cute little baby as a kid. They don't want a 7-year-old. Gross. They don't want a teenager. Gross. Oh, yeah, so I do not believe in putting your child in adoption. I believe in finding, in an orphanage, I believe in finding someone who will take that child. Same thing for animals, too. Shelters are so bad and so horrible and so, just, vile and, I'm trying to think of the word. So just bad. They're bad. They're not helping at all. There's plenty of animals where, they can't afford this, so they put down a lot, and it's just, they're not good. Shelters are not good. So don't ever give, I 1000% disagree with putting your dog in a shelter. If you cannot afford to take care of your animal, find someone who can. Find someone who can afford to take care of your dog. Do not put your dogs in the shelter or the pound. They will die. You are literally sending them to their death. And it's just, because it is, so yeah, that's how I view shelters and how I view orphanages are the literal same. Don't put your kid in an orphanage if you can't afford to take care of it. Find someone who can afford to take care of it. Find someone who wants that, because there's millions of people who want kids so bad, and they either can't have them, or they don't want to go through birth or stuff like that. So many options are out there for people who want kids. You just have to find them. So anyway, that's my spiel on if you can't afford it, if you either financially can't afford to take care of a child, or you mentally cannot afford to take care of a child, find someone who can. And if you absolutely cannot find someone, which should be impossible, then you can have an abortion, which is a big thing. But yeah, so but the thing is, right now there's literal cases right now. There's cases of women dying because they couldn't get an abortion, because doctors are terrified right now. They're terrified to go to jail. They're terrified to lose their license for doing an abortion, even if that abortion is to save the mother's life. Because the mother there's a lot of misconception about, Roe v. Wade. I mean, I need to read it or whatever, the overturn of Roe v. Wade, but, a lot of doctors are terrified to give women abortions until the last possible second, and in most cases, that last possible second either leads to the death of the mother or the death of that organ, so they can't have kids anymore. There's this lady who had a morning after pill, and ended up getting a very common infection in her womb, and needed things to be cleaned out and removed. She waited in agony for 2 hours in the waiting room to wait till she was literally dying to have that stuff removed. I don't know how that stuff worked. I don't know if the baby still had a heartbeat or something like that, or if I just know she had an infection in her uterus. She had an infection in her uterus and had to wait 2 hours in inexcruciable pain waiting to get this abortion and ended up dying on the table because like the infection got too bad because the doctor was too scared. Completely preventable death, but it happened because that doctor was too scared to perform an abortion. Like, that's what this law has done. It's made people too scared to save people, to save mothers, because in fear that they're going to jail, they're going to lose their license. There's another woman who had a similar thing where the baby inside her had no chance of life outside of the womb. It would have been born, I think it was dying at some point or whatever, so she needed to have an abortion. But she had to wait to get an abortion until she was on death's door and ended up losing her entire uterus and now can no longer have kids. And she wanted kids so desperately. And they had been trying for forever, and this baby they'd finally made this baby, and it had complications, so she needed to get it removed, and now she can't have kids. She biologically cannot have kids. Oh, it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. Anyway, 46 minutes of political views of mine. We'll see who sits through all this. Yeah, those are my big points. Yeah. Anyway, American Heritage is interesting. I'm pissed off about that grade. I do think I'm probably gonna get like a B or a C in this class. Depending how this midterm goes, it will 1,000% determine what my grade's gonna be or what my grade's gonna look like. And most people do get C's in this class because I don't want to get a C, but they literally make it impossible to try and freaking learn and understand what you're supposed to know for the test. Gosh. Anyway, don't I look so cute today? I gotta do some math. It is 10 o'clock right now. I gotta do math and then read some of that book. I gotta read Book of Mormon first. Oh, so much reading. I hate everything. Everything is the worst. Anyway, also, sad face. I'm gonna have to call the people because my that was really weird. Do you guys see that? I don't know what that was. But yeah, there was I'm gonna have to call the what are they called? The voter registration office, because I called them a week ago and I still haven't gotten my application, away from, like out of state application vote or whatever. Because I have to get that and then I have to fill it out and then I have to send it back and then they send me the ballot and I can fill that out and I can send it back. And I think October, sometime in October is when that closes, the out of state thing closes. So I'm a little scared because I really want to vote this election. So if I don't get it tomorrow, I'm probably gonna call and be like, hey, did you guys send it or what? Because I really want to vote. Ugh, oh well. Anyway, how long does it take? Do y'all know? 50 minutes. Do y'all know how long it takes for mail to get from one side of the country to the other? I heard it says, well, also, and then South Carolina had that whole big hurricane, so I understand if my mail's stuck there because the freaking the death toll is 116. I think it got raised too. That was yesterday. Not yesterday. Yes. No, that was this morning. This morning it was 116. Crazy. My goodness. Sorry, I'm looking at myself and not the camera. Yeah. Literally, I'm gonna have to call them yesterday and be like, hey, have y'all sent out my mail? Because I really want to be able to make it to y'all in time. Dang. Anyway, I hope everyone in South Carolina and North Carolina and all those places are safe. Hello to anyone who is watching this that does not know who I am. Just kidding. Everyone watching this should know who I am. Although no one's been watching my stuff, I can see who's watching. No, I can't. I can't see who's watching my stuff. Actually, it's only got 9 views. Anyway, well, I'm gonna go. Bye. See you guys tomorrow.